Hi, welcome to the Let It Fly show. I am Michael Severe, partner Josh Jones. One more week will be gone. We'll be back next week. And we're a really cool guest next week, too. I'll tell you about that coming up a little bit later. We are inside of the Let It Fly Sports Bar, downtown Omaha. 50-foot screen, 2 bars, 80-something televisions, and, of course, great food. An elevated sports bar. 3 locations now, soon to be 4. One in Lincoln very soon, but right now, downtown, La Vista, and out west, Let It Fly West, of course. And reminder always, if you're looking for a great happy hour, from 3 to 6, and then from 10 to 1 for reverse happy hour, amazing specials at Let It Fly Sports Bar. And then every day of the week, there's a special as well. We're taping this on a Tuesday. Always great specials. This is Taco Tuesday. Wednesday is Dollar Wing Wednesday. So as you know, every day there is a special. Also, we want to thank Bud Light for being our presenting sponsor. As always, they make things easy to drink and easy to enjoy. And you can enjoy that while you're doing the happy hour from 3 to 6 or the reverse happy hour from 10 to 1. Our guest this week, I'm very excited about it because a number of different reasons, but Bags of Fun is an organization that goes out and literally brings bags of fun to kids who are stuck in the hospital. They have surgeries. They have cancer treatments, like my son going through a major surgery and being in there for a long time. And so what they'll do is they bring these bags in, and they've already asked the kid's parents and the kid what they like, and they fill this bag up. It's worth, some $400, and they bring the bag to the kids and, bring them fun and bring them happiness. It's a really cool organization. Started in Colorado. There's one in Kansas City, and there's one here in Omaha. Now, we'll tell that story. Drue Lovgren will actually join us. He is from the board of Bags of Fun, and also Brook Berringer's sister. And so we'll talk a little bit about the scholarship program they have at Nebraska for her brother and just the way they are continuing to keep his memory alive as well as we go along when we talk to Drue. Let's do headlines now. Number 1. Now, this is weird because Nebraska basketball is playing as we tape. Well, they start at 10 o'clock. We're taping this around 6:30. So obviously you'll know when this drops tomorrow if Nebraska's won. They're in just a weird position right now. They've won 3 in a row, right? But they really don't have that really, really cool win against a team that people think is a team that's going to get in the tournament. USC was kind of in the bubble, but they were going on their 5th loss straight that they beat them. Now they're playing a UCLA team coming off of a loss, but they're playing them in Pauley. They've only lost 1 game at home all year long. No one has gone on the USC-UCLA twofer and won both games. And so obviously you'll know when this drops if they won or not. But Nebraska in a great spot to get that 2 seed in the Big Ten tournament. Finish the regular season, the 2 seed in the Big Ten. Pretty darn cool. The question I'd ask, I've been hearing asked constantly all week on different shows, but who's more valuable? Is it Price Samford, or is it Sam Hoiberg? And to weigh in, the scorer or the do-everything guy, as much as what Price does is incredibly valuable. I mean, this guy's had back-to-back 30-point games against Penn State and against Maryland and Penn State and USC. What Hoiberg does was shown against USC. He gets into foul trouble in the first half. He's out for the 11 minutes, and they're turning the ball over. They can't get the offense going. They're not getting some loose balls. Just struggling. And he comes back in the second half. They immediately go on a run. It was like 30-10 was the run. Flipped the game. Ended up, bleeding them by 15. And it shows you what Hoiberg is. Sam Hoiberg is the most valuable because of everything he does. He does so many things for them. The little rebounds he gets on the offensive and defensive sides. The plays he makes, just not turning the ball over. The steals he gets. He's basically leading the Big Ten and at times the country in assist turnover rate. So I would say, for me, I think that he is the most valuable. And currently, before this game they're playing tonight, Nebraska looks like a 3 seed in St. Louis, according to some of the bracketologists. We'll see if that ends up happening. But we'll, of course, talk more about that next week as they finish up the season at home against Iowa next week. And then, of course, we'll talk about that as well next Wednesday. What's next for Creighton basketball is our number 2 headline. The way the season is ending and the way the season's been with the injuries, with obviously the pain of Josh Dix losing his mother, it's been such a tough season. And it started off with, Coach Mack naming a coach in waiting, and then you have this kind of season. So will this be Coach Greg McDermott's last season. I just can't imagine him walking away like this, below 500. Even if they go on a run in the Big East tournament, they're not getting in the tournament unless they win the whole thing. It looks like right now they're going to have to actually play one of the early games in the tournament unless they beat Butler, which is going to be on Wednesday, and then, of course, win some games. But beat Butler, and then hopefully some other things happen where they move up to the 5 spot instead of the 6 spot in the Big East. But as of right now, it has been an incredibly tough season. One of the things that Sam McEwen wrote about in Husker Extra was, he said, the series between Nebraska and Creighton has flipped for sure. And maybe for a bit, Creighton is a rare program at crossroads. Nebraska is in firm control of the rivalry. I thought Josh was going to be here, and I was going to ask Josh if he felt the same way. The way Nebraska is playing right now, it feels like it. But in this society of the way college basketball is and adding guys in the transfer portal, it could flip back quickly. 8 of 9 for Creighton, and now Nebraska's won 3 of 4. That's a great run for them. But Creighton's got a lot of guys coming back, most likely, the ones they want to come back. Obviously, they got to replace Josh Dix. They can go in, they have money to spend in basketball, probably more money than Nebraska does. So that could flip pretty quickly. But the rivalry right now, though, is in a unique position. Really, the last time it was like this was probably Barry Collier when Nebraska was still, even before Barry Collier. Really got to go back to Danny Nee when Danny Nee was, winning 4 in a row against Creighton. But that's an interesting part about this rivalry, and we'll see what happens. I hate to see Greg McDermott go out after this amazing Hall of Fame career with this kind of season. So hopefully he decides to come back. Coach Lutz is fine with that. He comes back and, puts together a decent season before he decides to step away. Third headline, NCAA tournament. Would you take Arizona, Michigan, or Duke, or the field? That's your question. That's what everybody's talking about. Michigan, Arizona, and Duke are so far ahead of all the other teams. You got Iowa State, and you got Houston, and you got Florida and UConn. But none of those are even feel like they're on the level of those top 3. So we have a really interesting NCAA tournament this year because I think most people are going to pick either Michigan, Arizona, or Duke to win it, and that's it. But it could be the person that picks a little off of that favorites that ends up winning your bracket. So think about that when you're putting together your bracket. All right, when we come back, we're going to chat with one of the board members from Bags of Fun, a local organization that does incredible work. Drue Lovgren will join us to talk more about that when we come back here on Let It Fly Show. All right, welcome back to Let It Fly Show. Very excited this week to be talking with one of the board members over at Bags of Fun and a bag whisperer. Drue Lovgren joining us here, again, on the board of Bags of Fun. How are you doing? Thanks for taking the time.
Thanks for having us. Thanks.
Tell me, when did you first get involved with Bags of Fun before we actually get into what it is?
So, I got invited to a backyard barbecue with one of my kids' friends' parents, and they said, "Oh, we're gonna smoke some meat. It's gonna be good. Oh, and our friend's gonna come over and talk about a nonprofit they're getting ready to start."
Oh, okay.
So that was back
just a little bit. Okay.
That was back in about
2018, 2019.
Bags of Fun started in Omaha in 2019.
Right.
So that was probably 21.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they'd already started it when you got, okay, all right.
Yeah. So our founders started out of their basement.
It's incredible.
And worked out of their basement
right.
for 2 years before we had a physical location.
This sounds like something very simple. You have a kid who's in the hospital. It sucks being in a hospital.
Yep.
You guys bring them some joy. You bring them some fun. But obviously it started a very sad way. Can you kind of talk about Gabby and how that all got started?
Yeah. Today's actually Gabby's birthday.
Yeah, we're taping this on March 3rd.
We're celebrating her legacy today. Mm-hmm. But Gabby was a little 5-year-old in Denver, Colorado, and she was diagnosed with a brain tumor. And so her mom was a special education teacher by profession, and she knew that their hospital visits, their doctor visits, their hospital stays would go smoother if she could keep Gabby occupied,
sure,
keep her entertained, keep her distracted, keep her laughing. And so she got a little tote bag and put some activities, some games, some puzzles, some stuffed animals, things like that in her bag.
Right.
And Gabby coined it her bag of fun.
Oh, okay.
So every time she got ready to go somewhere, she would grab her bag of fun and take that with her to her appointments. And so she would sit in a waiting room and there would be other kids. This was back about 21, 22 years ago.
Wow.
And Gabby would see other little kids who hadn't thought about bringing something along to stay occupied. And, you know, when a family is going through a health crisis, as you know, sometimes it's overwhelming just to understand the diagnosis, the treatment plan, keeping track of the appointments, the medications, what's happening at this appointment. And the last thing they're thinking about is, how am I going to keep my kid having fun and distracted and occupied. So Gabby would pass out her toys to other little kids in the waiting room.
Right.
And she said to her mom, Tammy, you know, she said, I would like to make, when I'm done with all of this, I want to make bags of fun for other kids so that they have a bag that they can take with them. And so Gabby fought her brain cancer for 18 months before she passed away. And Tammy Krause in Denver, Colorado, delivered her first bag of fun within a month of Gabby's passing to a kid at Denver's Children's Hospital.
None of us can wrap our minds about losing a child, obviously. But I'm guessing this direction of giving her a purpose had to help her, right?
Yeah, definitely. And it was Gabby's legacy.
Yeah.
You know, Tammy said, this is all I've done for the last 18 months. What am I going to do now?
Yeah.
And Bags of Fun was it. So they launched 21 years ago and have been going strong in Denver ever since. They started with oncology because that's the world they knew, and very quickly realized that the hospital is full of kids with all kinds of situations. And so they quickly expanded it to everyone. And then later down the road, they expanded it into mental health as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we're going to get to that. How did it get from Denver to Omaha?
So it came to Omaha in 2019, and Gabby has an aunt and uncle who live here in Elkhorn.
Right.
And so
And that's Amy.
Amy
yes,
Krause,
right.
yeah. Amy and Andy Krause. And so Amy and Andy brought it to Omaha and started working out of their basement, and just the two of them were working on it. So they had a basement full of toys and 4 kids of their own.
Wow.
And so whenever anybody had friends over, it was like, don't touch the things in the basement. Don't touch the toys. And so it became, as they expanded and did more and more bags, it became very apparent that they needed some help. So hence their former next door, or one of their next door neighbors Lee came on and started helping them with stuff, and then they expanded it to additional people. So
Drue Lovgren joining us from Bags of Fun. So this is kind of, because your husband works in peds.
He works in maternal fetal medicine. So OB,
Yeah, so at the beginning,
yes,
right? And he sees obviously the most vulnerable children, and then hopefully everything's okay, but you never know. So it's almost like a family thing for you, because you're dealing with them in the hospital afterwards. He's there at the beginning of them. Yeah. It is kind of like a little family thing for you guys.
Yeah. And we lost our first child. We lost. She had a fatal chromosome disorder, so I can also imagine what Tatum's life would have been like with complex medical situations. And so I have a heart for these families that are going through these health battles. So
I'll never forget going, because Children's World used to be like our oasis.
Right.
And we would go to Children's World on Friday and drop Miles off, and we'd go get sleep that we hadn't gotten all week long. And the other kids in there were much more serious than Miles. Yeah. Right? Miles was serious, but they were much life-threatening things. And I remember thinking to myself, I don't know how their parents do it. Yeah. And there's some really good things out there. There's certain waivers, that can help you get nursing care.
Absolutely.
But still, just day to day, having to deal with that, it's overwhelming. And I'm, as much as the kids are getting fun, I'm imagining that the parents are feeling that way as well.
Yeah. And we're so lucky in Omaha. We have so many great organizations that support a family that's going through a health crisis, that can help them with bills and transportation and all kinds of different things. And Bags of Fun hits that little special spot where we're focusing on bringing some joy, laughter, and relief to the actual kid. I want to tell you a story. The very first delivery that I did in person was during COVID. And so I didn't get to see the kiddo, but I delivered a bag. We caught up with the kid when he was at Madonna. And so his mom came out to the vestibule, and it was in the middle of winter. It was cold out. I remember the door kept opening and shutting. And the mom and I stood there for about an hour, and she just unloaded all of what this journey had been like, not only for the kid, but for his siblings, for the mom and dad. And I sat there with that bag and I thought, this bag is going to bring a lot of joy, laughter, and relief to this little kid, but this is impacting the entire family.
Right.
So, yeah.
How do you figure out what you're going to put in a child's bag?
So we have a referral form. They get that through their child life specialist or their social worker. And then they send it up to us for our medical bags. So we get very specific things. Like I did a bag this morning to a little guy at Children's who was going through some chemotherapy, and he loved farm animals. And so we had lots of different farm animal things. He loved Blippi, which is a cartoon character. And so we ordered those specific toys. About half of our bag, we partner with Fat Brain Toys. They give us a great discount on our toys, and they also help us select some really great, high quality, developmentally appropriate, awesome toys. And so they help us with about half that bag. And then we utilize online ordering through Amazon or Target or whoever to get the characters, Blippi, Spider-Man, Barbie, Moana, Steph Curry, whoever.
Right. Whatever it fits that child.
Yeah.
So when they open that, it's personalized for them.
It's totally personalized. No medical bag is the same.
Yeah.
It is just for that kiddo. Yeah.
That's incredible. Drue Lovgren joining us from Bags of Fun. So one of the things by the way, you mentioned something. You said child life. And people don't all go to the hospital, so you don't all relate to this. But let me tell you something. The people that work in that profession, the child life people, are incredible.
Yeah.
Because their job is to comfort a child as they're getting ready to go into surgery, as they're getting ready to go into treatment, as they're getting ready to have their 5th blood draw of the day.
Yeah.
And they're there just to comfort them. They're incredible people.
Yeah.
Them and peds nurses, especially NICU nurses, straight to heaven. There's no stopping. There's no collecting $200 or anything like that. So let's talk about how people can help you. I'm sure you can use volunteers, and you have a couple big events coming up. So let's start off with how people can volunteer. How can they help?
We do. So we also, besides our medical bags, we also have a mental health program.
Right.
And so our medical bags are valued at about $450 to $500, and they're customized just for that specific kiddo. And then our mental health bags are valued at about $250, and they are all exactly the same. We have the exact same thing in every single bag, and they are given to the facilities prior to that. We just take them all over at the same time. So they give them to the kids on discharge. So we have so many great so many great companies in Omaha that give their employees paid time off. So we'll have different companies bring in a group of volunteers, and they'll pack those mental health bags. So we also can do, if there's a book club or another group where we can have people come in and pack bags all the time. So
you were telling about Children's Hospital having this mental health care unit for children.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know existed, with, you said 40 beds?
Yeah.
And they're full all the time.
Yes.
And
they
so
opened in January, and they were at capacity, inpatient capacity, within 4 days.
Wow. You just don't think about the need and how great it is. So you're constantly working to get those mental health care bags.
Yeah. So we've partnered with the mental health providers on what to put in those bags. What are you using as tools during their inpatient stay that we could put in the bag and the kid can have to take home. And so the criteria on that, there are some comfort items, there are blankets and warmy stuffed animals. There are some creative stuff, a diamond art kit, a painting kit, a coloring book. There are some fidget items. One of the items that is in every bag, even a 17-year-old boy gets a container of bubbles. And it's really easy to say to when someone's having a hard time taking a deep breath, just saying, oh, just breathe, just breathe, just breathe. And this is a tool that they teach the kids to use when they're having a high heart rate, when they're coming into a crisis episode.
Anxiety,
and so with bubbles, it makes you take a really deep breath and then slowly blow it all the way out. Wow. And so that's a tool that these mental health providers are teaching these kids to use.
Yeah.
So they used to they would just send them on their way on discharge, and then it was up to the family to find these tools. Yeah. And so that's where the Bag of Fun comes in, and is such a lifeline for them. So they've been taught how to use these things. When they get ready to discharge, they come up with a plan of the 3 things that they're going to utilize out of their Bag of Fun to help them if they're in a moment of crisis.
Right.
And so they say that between thought and action is less than 10 minutes. And if we can intervene in that time frame, you can save a life.
Yeah.
So
the bubble thing, I never even thought about taking a breath like that. What in the bag that you guys gave Miles, the thing that was the most popular thing, there was this little fart
buddy.
Fart buddy.
So that's a nod to Gabby, because she, as a little 5-year-old, would keep fart putty in her pocket.
This is so hilarious.
And every time that she was in an appointment and the doctors were getting really serious and everybody was talking about big serious things, Gabby would rip that out and make a huge noise, and everyone would laugh.
Yeah.
And when you laugh, you take a deep breath.
Sure.
And it would break the tension and just calm everyone down. And so her little 5-year-old soul knew how to break that tension. Yeah. So we put fart putty in not only our mental health bags, but also our medical bags.
Yeah. You can't laugh. I mean, you can't not laugh when you do it.
Right?
I mean, it gets annoying after your child does it like constantly, but you're still kind of giggling inside because it's still so funny. Let's talk about it's the 4th annual Game Night Gala, which is April 10th this year.
Yes.
That's a Friday?
Yes.
Okay. Are you normally on a Friday or a Thursday?
Friday.
Always Friday. Okay. We always do ours on Thursday, so but the week before you guys. So let's talk about this and how people can go there, get tables, buy tickets, that kind of thing.
In my opinion, it is the best gala in town.
It's as fun as I wish we could have as much fun as you guys do.
Yeah. Our entire cocktail hour is just playing games. Yeah. And so this year our theme is Wizard of Oz. And so there's something about hope. And so all of the games are all themed around the Wizard of Oz. And you spend the entire time before the program playing games, earning raffle tickets. Yeah. And everything from mini golf to Pop-A-Shot to there's a horse racing game. There's some casino games. It's just a super fun time. Yeah. And then we go into the program. And you guys were our feature family one year. Yeah. And we have a great family that's coming in this year as well, talking about their little boy, Freddie. So. Oh, nice. Yeah.
I love the heads tails game.
Yes.
Which I've never seen played before.
Really?
It's such an easy concept to do. Half people are going after the first one, and then it just continues winding down. And at the end, then people usually donate the money back if they win. So that's really cool.
And the best thing is everybody's got beads on at the beginning, and then you take off your bead and you throw it at the MC. And I don't know why that is so funny, but it's one of the highlights of the night.
Well, I can personally tell you, growing up in New Orleans, throwing your beads are always fun. Throwing beads are a good time. And then you also have a golf tournament that's coming up in June.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be at Indian Creek.
Yep.
And what website, where should they go to be able to find out more information?
So you can just go to bagsoffun.org, and that will
and then
take you.
choose the 3
There's
cities.
Denver, Kansas City, and Omaha.
Right.
And you can click on Omaha, and all of our events are there. Yeah. We just had a really successful ice fishing tournament.
Really?
So, yeah.
Where would you have an ice fishing tournament?
I believe it's at White Hawk, near the White Hawk neighborhood.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And
we walked around there.
Yeah, and we had to move it. It was supposed to be mid-January, but of course it was
warm.
It was spring in January, right? Yeah. So we had to wait a couple weeks till that big storm came through, and then the ice was nice and thick. So, yeah.
Well, that's awesome. That's a fun thing to do. That is. Again, Drue Lovgren joining us from Bags of Fun, one of the board members there. I want to ask you a little bit about your brother, Brook Berringer, because every year I always look forward to being in the press box and looking down there with your family as you're giving out the Citizenship Team Award, which is a scholarship that goes to one of the players on the Nebraska football team. Can you talk about that, keeping your family involved with the Huskers and what that means to you?
Yeah, the Husker program has been so loving to our family, and it's been a while. That was 1996.
Yeah.
So it's been a hot minute. The guys that are playing on the football team now were not even alive when Brook played.
We're
which
old.
is crazy.
Yeah.
We're old, right?
We're old, yes.
So the university does a scholarship in the fall. So Brook actually was super good friends with a country band called Sawyer Brown.
Yeah,
they
right.
were back in the day, they were on Star Search.
Sure,
if you remember that.
Yeah.
Right? And so actually Brook and I went to a Sawyer Brown concert in Lincoln when he was in college, and we had an opportunity to meet them and kind of developed a friendship with them over the next 2 or 3 years. And so they actually came and performed at his funeral.
Right.
And then that fall, they were the main final concert at the state fair.
Oh, okay.
And so they actually had written a song about Brook, and they performed it there for the first time.
Oh, wow.
And so that was super incredible. And they used the proceeds from that concert and talked to our family about how could we use this to memorialize Brook. And what was decided was that there would be an endowment set up at the University of Nebraska for a Husker football player, and it would recognize leadership on the team. It would recognize academics and character. And so Brook was really well known for doing a lot of community service back in the day. And so that's a huge component of that scholarship.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then in the spring, at the spring game, they award a citizenship team. And that has had, over the years, it's had anywhere from 12 to half the team has been on it. And a couple of times they've increased the criteria on it, but it involves community service and leadership in the community.
Yeah.
So,
and people can donate to the Brook Berringer Memorial Scholarship Fund, right? Because I saw on the website.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, at the school, there's all these different funds you can donate to.
Yeah.
And I was checking today to see if that was one of them, and it was.
Oh, wow.
So you can donate to that. Like a lot of times, end of the year, people have their annuities or whatever, and they have to, and it's one of those that you can donate to.
Yeah.
So it's cool that it's really
the new Osborne Center has a really cool memorial to Brook, and our kids, of course, didn't know their Uncle Brook, and that's such a great way for them to know more about him. When people go out to Vala's and get their pictures taken of their height as they grow, our kids have pictures next to Uncle Brook's statue.
Right. I think about just the fact that, you're watching these student athletes get older, and you're out there and you're watching this next group. And then, as I was saying to you off before we started, Coach Brown would always tells them the story about your brother and the commitment he had of, losing that tight competition to Tommy in 95 and staying around instead of transferring like everybody does now. He's still impactful at the school all these years later.
Yeah, Coach Brown says he walks, when people are talking about the transfer portal, he'll walk them out to Brook's statue and say, we have a statue of a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I have a weird association with your brother because the first year I did my draft report. I'm a draft geek, NFL draft geek. And so I was going through and trying to, 96, it wasn't easy to find video of people. Right? It was it wasn't like it is now, believe it or not. And I remember I had to go and get some video from the 94 year and find some stuff so I could rate him where I was going to have my quarterbacks. Yeah. And when I found out that he had passed, I remember thinking, first of all, this guy's going to be a 3rd or 4th round pick based off of what I thought of him. And then I just thought, I'm glad I got to know him as part of this draft thing, before he was gone. So that's just something I always think about whenever I see either the statue or see you. I think about that. Yeah. Does anybody, so I always, every year, send a text to or reach out to Gerald Fultz, Sam's dad. Are there people that still like from way back then that still, call you, that are still in your life because of what happened?
Absolutely. Coach Osborne is somebody that has been such a good friend to our family, and he calls Mom often.
Yeah.
I had the opportunity to get to hear Coach Cook talk at an event a couple days ago, and introduced myself and told him my association with Brook, and he said, "Oh, I'm gonna text Tom and tell him I met you." And
Yeah.
so yeah, Coach Brown keeps in touch with our family really well.
That's cool.
And every time that we go down, our whole family goes down and is a part of that weekend that they give the Brook Berringer scholarship.
Yeah.
And the Huskers welcome us every single time.
Yeah, just watch your kids grow every year.
And we get to we often go to the practice because Coach Rule likes those awards to be given out at practice rather than pregame. We used to do it pregame. And that's tough when you're preparing for a game to have to step over to the sideline and do something different. So we'll go down to that practice the couple days before the game and do it, and the kids get to watch. Now I have 2 boys down in Lincoln, so
that's crazy.
Same age.
How fast that happened. Wasn't Tyler Kanak one of them?
Yes.
And do you get like when somebody actually plays and he's
Yeah.
out there starting? That's got to be kind of cool to watch him.
Yeah,
and cheer for him.
And then we had a kiddo down in Lincoln that was getting a bag of fun, and
really?
I called.
I
called Tyler.
Yeah.
And asked if he would be willing to come along with me, and because this little kid was a huge Husker fan.
Yeah, of
and
course,
so
yeah.
Tyler met me, and we were there. We presented the bag to him, and he went through his bag. He was super excited about it, and then he ran over and he got on his video game, and went through all these screens so fast, like a kid does, right?
Yeah.
Like just blazing through those. And then he started pointing at the screen, and he brought Tyler. He was playing his college football,
sure,
right?
Yeah.
And he brought up Tyler's
Oh,
profile.
wow, that's
and so
cool.
we posted a picture of Connor and Tyler with Tyler's
screen.
profile.
Oh wow, that is really cool. That is awesome.
It was fun.
Yeah. So the annual game night gala, Wizard of Oz edition is April 10th.
Yes.
I'm assuming there are tickets still available.
There are tickets. There are not very many tickets left.
Yeah.
There are a couple full tables left as well.
Yeah.
So you can get on bagsoffun.org and you can purchase a table on there. So
you guys were extremely mean last year, having those puppies going around. That is unfair.
There was a wagon
of puppies
with little baby puppies
that you could bid on for the auction. That was really unfair. It was so hard to take a puppy home. Thank God we got outbid, because I don't know what we would have done. And then the golf tournament is on June 10th.
Yes.
You can find out more information about that as well.
Yeah.
I'm assuming so.
Yeah.
But thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
It's so cool knowing your family for so long. Between the fact that where I met you and the way your husband worked with my wife at the hospital, it's just a really cool relationship that we've developed in same church and everything.
Yeah.
So,
and you did a story on me when I was a teacher.
Yeah, that was they sent me out. So, when are you a kindergarten teacher? And I'm like, okay, fine.
We talked about my rocking chair that my mom had painted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those rooms, again, we were talking about this earlier, that kindergarten room, it's got to be ready for everything. You got to have the extra pants and underwear, and you got to have everything ready for the kindergartners, because you never know what you're going to get for sure. Well, thank you very much for coming in. Good luck this year. I'm sure we'll see you guys there. So thanks for taking the time.
Thank you.
All right, welcome back. We appreciate Drue for coming in and talking to us about Bags of Fun. Again, the 2 events, they have the 4th annual Game Night Gala, which is happening on April 10th at the Relevance Center in Elkhorn. If you want to be a part of that, it is a really fun event. They have a great time. And you could hear, talking to Drue, it's an organization that does amazing work and can use your help, whether you want to volunteer, go to an event like this, help them raise money. So many bags are going out to not just the kids that are in hospital, but also those mental health bags now. They've given out about 2,000 bags so far since the Omaha branch started in 2019. And they went from giving about 10 bags to the mental health care they probably need more like 100 bags a month because of the amount of students or kids that go through there. So if you can help. And then the other one is a golf tournament. If you're looking for a golf tournament to play in June, the 5th annual Birdies for Bags golf tournament, June 10th. That is at the club at Indian Creek. Of course, you can go to bagsoffun.org and just click on the Omaha branch. You find out more about that. Again, thank you to Drue for coming on from Bags of Fun. Thank you to Caleb, our producer, Mike Allen, our executive producer, also Stable Gray for putting the videos together and doing all of that. Also, special thanks to our presenting sponsor, Bud Light, making it easy to drink and easy to enjoy no matter where you are, no matter what you're watching. Easy to drink and easy to enjoy. And also remember, if you're watching on the YouTube channel, all you got to do is click the subscribe and like. We appreciate that. Last week's show was great with Damon Benning. We got a bunch of people watching it. It was pretty cool. We appreciate that. Hopefully more people find the show and listen as well and watch as well, whether it's Spotify or Apple. So that'd be awesome. Next week, we're going to talk about the NCAA and where these teams are headed, high school basketball, high school football, all of that with one of the directors of the NCAA. We'll do that next week here on Let It Fly. Have a great week.